Hey there everyone. Next video is going to be about line 66A, earned income credit. I'm going to be speaking generally about this one. Like the shared responsibility payment, it requires a couple of different, or it's dependent on a couple of different factors. But I want anyone who's watching this to be knowledgeable about if they're expecting a refund, but their income went up, and then say you go to your paid prepare and you received a lower refund than you did last year. So what is the earned income credit? The earned income credit is considered an entitlement under the federal budget. It's entitlements make up a third of the budget. It's up there with Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. And really what it is it's an anti-poverty measure. And I know some people aren't think the earned income credit is refundable, which to some people they think that if you don't, you shouldn't get back more than you paid in for your refund. And when we're talking about this level of poverty, it doesn't make a dent in our federal in the federal budget to the extent that to the amount that it helps. I know for some families that I work with, this represents half of their income for the year, or essentially a third of their income, half of what they made. And so I think there it does a lot more than it takes away. So what is how you compute the earned income credit? Tax software. It's something that's a little bit more difficult. If you're using fillable forms, the IRS has a tool for figuring out what you should be getting for the earned income credit. Just Google. I'll actually tell you. How do I determine the earned income credit, or EITC? And it should be one of the top results. It'll be an IRS link, and they'll go through a questionnaire with you to determine if you're someone's dependent, if you have dependents. Here's what you need to keep in mind. You should be considering the earned income credit if you're single, up to or over the age of 25, or you have children. If you're over 25 with no children, you should be looking into the earned income credit when you make up to $16,000 of taxable income. Next thing, if you have children, 1, 2, or 3 children has an effect on your eligibility. 4 and up, don't do anything. So we're looking at up to 3 children, and if you're living by yourself, you're single, so you're either doing head of household. You should be looking at getting an earned income credit up to about $3,500 or $35,000. And this is generally speaking. There's a couple of circumstances that affect eligibility for it. Lastly, if you're married and you have up to 3 kids, you should be looking at it up to $55,000, generally speaking. The way that the earned income credit is computed is based on your earned income. So if you had some investments that you're making money off of, those don't count. It's like your taxable wages, farm income, self-employment, that sort of stuff affects the eligibility for this. and it's a bell curve. So what a bell curve is that so for a single person, 0 and $16,000, like I said, this is the amount that you receive. And I believe for singles, you can get up to $510 for it. I think that's the cap for singles. For head of household, I don't know the amount, but I want to say it's in the 3,000s. For that amount, it's zero income, 36,000 that you should be considering, and then it works like that. If you're making in the early 20,000s, I think that's the best it does. The purpose of this credit is to encourage you to work for someone, and so the credit helps you and any dependents you have. With the amount that I'm sure a lot of the population is working, you more than deserve this credit. The next thing we're going to talk about is if you're married. Okay, so for that one, it's between 0 and 55. Again, it works bell curve. For this one, it's most advantageous to have it in the 30,000s. Your income being the 30,000s. Remember, this considers that you have 3 children and what I was going to say, but this should definitely be a part of your tax planning. I mentioned in an earlier video that I saw a comment on a Time magazine post about someone saying that the only time that you should be receiving a refund is if the earned income credit is involved. And remember, the earned income credit is not, I shouldn't say and, I should say, remember, the earned income credit is factored in year-round. Something you should be keeping tabs on year-round. So if you, sorry, it's after 1 o'clock here. If you can estimate how much you'll receive in earned income credit, so let's say you and your spouse are both salaried, or let's say you're salaried in the 30,000s and your spouse is unemployed, they stay home with the kids, you can count on receiving about the same amount as last year in income. You can use that to think about how much of the earned income credit you'll receive. Again, that's line 66A. You can use that to determine how much withholding you should have for the year. Alright, that's about what I want to say on the earned income credit. Thank you for tuning in. See you later.